Newcomer.
Here.
Pam Pope.
Here.
And Mayor Dana Webb.
Here, thank you. The next item on the agenda is new business deletions or continuances. We do not have any of those this evening, so we will move on to public comments. City Clerk, do we have any public comments tonight?
There are none.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is a consent agenda. These items are considered on the consent agenda so that members of the Board of Aldermen, by unanimous consent, can designate routine items to be approved by one motion. Tonight, we have approval of the October 20th, 2025 Board of Aldermen meeting minutes and expenditures through October 30th, 2025.
I move we, I move we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is unfinished business. We do not have any unfinished business, so we will move on to the first item of new business, which is what you're all here for tonight. So we're going to come down on the floor and join you. All right, where's that football team? Are you all out there? Awesome. You can hear me, right? Okay, so tonight you're here because we're here to celebrate you. And so we have a proclamation for each and every one of you. And I'm going to read just one of them, but then when the board here announces your name, you're going to come down the center aisle, and then I'm going to shake your hand and give you the proclamation, okay? You can be creative if you want. If you want to do a somersault, if you want to do a dance, whatever you want. If you would like to sing "We Are the Champions," we would love it. So we have no prizes for whoever has the best entrance, but feel free as long as your parents are okay with it. All right, listen up to your proclamation that we're going to present to you tonight. Whereas on October 25th, 2025, the Oak Grove Youth Little League Super Bowl game was held between the Oak Grove Panthers 4th grade team and Pleasant Hill Roosters 4th grade team. And whereas through hard work and dedication, our very own 4th grade Oak Grove Panthers won that night with their extraordinary accomplishment, and they defeated the Pleasant Hill Roosters 4th grade team with a final score of 8-6 in what? Overtime. Well done, team. Whereas the Oak Grove Panthers 4th grade team, who are projected to be high school seniors in the year 2034, can we believe that, has been led by Coach Brett Fortner. Where are you? There you go. You wave your hands. And the staff of assistant coaches John Euler, Justin Thompson, Jeff Welper, Kyle Martin, Eric Baker, Buster Hodges, Jake Euler, and Garrett Hibby. So the members of the championship team are here tonight, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to recognize each one of you. You guys ready? All right. They're going to call your names. How about we do a Panther clap after they do whatever entrance they have chosen to do?
All right, first up is DeMarcus Brady, Brenton Fortner, Isaiah Suddeth, Andrew Hedges, Luke Euler, and Maverick Hodges.
Okay, we have James Dye, Kale Hollings, just kidding, hello. Hang on one second, guys. We're going too fast.
Yeah, slow it down. They don't have time to do the grand entrance. Well done. Who do we got here? What's your name?
Kale?
Let's make
Okay.
sure you have the right person.
This is Kale Hollingsworth.
Slow it down.
Okay. Kieran Hoggard, Piper Fritsch. I apologize if I said that wrong.
How do you say your last name?
Oh, so close. Carson Stark, And Bo Francis.
All right, next we have Cash Barker. There we go. Next we have Jackson Moore. Next we have Carson Hunsel. We have Caden Collard. We have Hunter Dirksen. Yeah, there it is. My group's awesome. And we have Briar Scheffler.
Marcus Martino. Darren King. Drew Gallington. Wade Posner. Donovan Parker. Bodie Wilper. Brady Connor.
Braxton Furman. Brock Weatherford. Max Bonnert. Right here. Sam Thompson. Remington Haynes. Landon Bauman. Okay, now we're moving on to coaches. So are we going to see any coaches hit the gritty? What do we think? We'll start at the bottom. Garrett Higbee. Oh, wait, I'm going to mess you up. Okay, we'll start. Okay. Jake Euler. Buster Hodges. Eric Barker. Kyle Martin. I'm so sorry. Jeff Wilper. I'm so sorry. Brett, it's coming for you wherever you are. Justin Thompson. John Euler. Okay, fourth grade Panthers. Can we get a drum roll? The one, the only head coach, Brad Fortner. Yeah, that's it.
All right, we would like all of you to come in here, and we're going to take a big picture of us, okay? No, we'll just, maybe they can start kneeling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey,
And then your coaches, Brett, your coach is right here.
You're gonna have to be in three. You guys up here.
Would have been.
You guys, you're gonna squat. Briar Thomas.
I bet that. I bet that one. They were doing it all, swinging their arms down low. Justin Jefferson. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of tough coming up with a football celebration without just on your own. I got it made up for him now.
We're getting a little squished on this side. Okay. I'm gonna actually, you're gonna stand. You're gonna come up. You're gonna, you need to get, you two switch. Brett, you need to be in front. Okay. So if you are from, my friend over in the orange here, to the back, I'm gonna have you guys row. Second row, put your hands on your knees. First row, you're gonna squat. Stand up like, like that. You right over here, and then this is right over here. You take this sucker out of your mouth. Friend, see how you're just like way higher than everybody else on your row? Can you get down like them? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, my friend in black is a little bit higher. Look at your neighbors. Your neighbor's face, the height that your face is. Look good. Looks good.
2-point stance, coach.
Okay. Right here on this side. Yep. Okay. All right. 3. There you go, bud. 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. All right.
big smiles. Look.
Smiles. Go back to where you were. Briar Thomas.
Congratulations.
This all takes snaps and really decisions.
Where'd you come from?
How long you been here?
2017.
I'm 1 year less than you. I'm the same way. I absolutely love this community. It's grown on me instantly. It took me no time.
It's, I remember when I first met Brad, first
Yeah. You guys go to any of the high school games?
All right,
There you go.
thank you all for coming tonight.
Absolutely.
You can sing We Are the Champions on the way out if you want. There you go.
Really?
Christine Say.
Surprised how many people
My
tell me
aunt
that.
is Sarah Netto. Oh, she's related to
Thank
her too,
you,
actually.
parents,
Yeah,
friends,
yeah.
family, for attending.
yeah.
You can stay for the rest of the meeting if you'd like, or you can exit at this time. But thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. It's fun celebrating with you.
It's I have to tell Sarah that. I know it's one of Sarah's coworkers. She has the same job as Sarah, so I don't know what he does. But. Oh, that guy knew Sarah Netto, something like distilling. Yeah.
He said I look like somebody he works with.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Very cute.
That's what I'll be having.
Hannah, you could just take a copy of the proclamation. That has all that right there.
But she needs to match it. There
won't be an order, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, where are you guys going?
I'm not interested in budget
already
amendments.
asked.
Yeah.
What about the
I
water?
saw the word budget on the agenda and I.
So did I. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Yeah. It's not that time yet. It's close though.
It is close.
Yeah.
And I quit.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Oh, good call. Thank you.
Whose presentation
I hear
is
the
next?
schools
How do you
are
follow that
ready
one?
right now.
Dana.
Yeah. We didn't shake their hands, but
Pass
Dana
it down.
did. Yeah.
Snotty nose.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't touch anybody.
Pass it down.
I did.
Pass up the-
I did.
Yeah.
They went.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
So Scott, would you, just so they don't feel like they have to leave, would you turn the microphone off in the lobby? Because I don't want them to think they have to leave.
I don't want to get complaints about them missing out on the water master plan.
Yeah,
Right.
Whoever does it needs to gritty. That's what I'm thinking. That was fun.
Are you nervous? You got to follow that? I'm telling you. What's your entrance going to be?
You're gonna gritty for us?
Yeah, so I've had people in the front row.
As soon as Kim shuts the doors, we'll start again. I love it that they linger out there, but they probably don't want to hear us. Are you good? All right. That was absolutely wonderful. Thank you, board, for assisting in that. Kim, thank you for putting it all together. You always do very well with that. Really appreciate it. The next item on the agenda is a presentation of the 2025 Water Master Plan by Bartlett and West. Matt, do you have anything to say before he comes up, or? Too late. Okay. Oh.
You got anything? Oh, okay. Well, thank you. That is a hard act to follow, and it's nice to see those celebrations. My hometown is Pleasant Hill, so I'm kind of.
Oh, that hurt tonight. Yeah.
Right in his face.
I almost wore orange, to help the celebration.
Okay,
but,
okay, yeah. When you pulled up tonight, just curious, were you a little nervous thinking everyone showed up to listen to to the water master plan?
Well, I was curious of all the little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
sure.
know.
Yeah,
As usually you don't see that too much in board meetings or city council
right,
meetings.
right. Well, thank you for setting through it.
No problem.
The floor is yours for the presentation.
All right, we'll get started. So the agenda here, kind of go over the existing system, what we did in evaluating the system, kind of the standards and goals, and then how we turned those into improvement recommendations, the capital improvements program, funding options, and then kind of next steps. So the existing system, we have water mains and water meters and hydrants and all that. Not everybody always knows that you've got two pump stations, one the main pump station that pumps to Frick tank, and then one that's a booster station that pumps to your south tank. Yeah, go ahead there. And don't expect you to see all the details here, just kind of representing the overall system and pointing out the locations of where those facilities are. So at the very top of the system, you have your connection to Independence, and that's where your high service pump station is at. And then, of course, everybody knows what Frick Park, that one's you can see from everywhere. And then the booster station is down just to the north of the south tank. And the overall system map here, we'll go through a few more details on that, but just showing the overall, and then the ranking. You've got different color codes for different size of water mains. And as we talk through this a little bit, you see 2-inch, 3-inch, 4-inch are all kind of taboo these days to meet fire flow requirements. 6-inch can kind of squeak it, but realistically, we need an 8 to meet fire flow requirements. So, all right. So one of the critical parts of evaluating any system like this would looking at your growth. And, you know, you've had times of fast-paced growth and then a few years that trail off and then, you know, peak it up again. So we look at kind of a low and a moderate and then a high growth rate. And for this, we look back over like the last 30 to 40 years. And for our excuse me, losing my voice. For our calculations, we use the moderate, kind of hit it in the middle. And our belief and experience of that, looking at years past, if we project too much, then you spend more and your revenues don't match what you're spending. So we want to be cautious of that and kind of balance what that projection is versus your budget and versus the real growth that you have. And sometimes engineers can project a little too much out there, and we don't think that's for your best interest. And then the end result is this. That projection calculates what your water usage is. The red line across the center of the screen there is what you pay your contract with Independence. And then the moderate growth rate. So what do you say these kids are going to graduate in?
2034?
34? 'Cause that's about the same year that line crosses
Really?
your contract amount for water purchase. So one of the recommendations that we've had was to talk with Independence and to start that conversation, because any change in contracts with Independence or Kansas City takes a long time to get through.
Yes.
So you're okay for today, but yeah, 2034, you're going to start seeing on peak days during the hot summer months, you're going to start seeing that usage get above your contracted amount. Now, I will say from years of past experience, Independence always has a little extra reserve, and they've always been willing to, you know, push it a little higher than your contract amount if it's needed on a certain day. But, you know, their systems are also getting older and needing improvements, and so we got to balance that coin with everybody involved. All right. So some of the standards that we kind of measure everything by and how we set up our hydraulic model calculations. Required minimum water pressure at 35 PSI across this whole city. You've got a few places that are around the 40 mark, but you don't have anything that's not above minimum. Fire flow, I throw this one up there. We'll talk about additional ones, but residential fire flow is required 1,000 gallons per minute. And there are some places that we'll talk about that we don't meet that. Some get close, but some of the older parts of town where we've got 2-inch and 4-inch water mains, you can never get that kind of fire flow out of those. So from water quality, your testing and water quality sampling, all that, you guys do a good job. No issues there. We do simulate that in the model for age of the water and how long it is in pipes and in your tanks. So we can look at, potential issues or risks there. Water loss, the DNR says anything above a 15% water loss is significant, and they want to see improvements made to reduce that. Now, I'll say that that's true water loss. If you have a fire, you've got, filling up swimming pools and other things that maybe it's not truly a loss, it's just unaccounted for, but it's not a true leak, then we need to back those out of that calculation. So sometimes those get a little bit confused. But in some recent years, you've been a little bit over that 15%. So again, that's areas where it's most likely the older water mains that have had a lot of breaks. As those get replaced, that water loss should come down. So this is the fire flow standard. Years ago, this wasn't nearly as high, but today, fire code pushes that standard. So residential, if you look at 1,000 gallons a minute to fight a residential fire, and we're required to have at least a 1 hour's volume of water. And so I put the volume off to the side there. So 60,000 gallons of water to fight a residential fire for an hour. That's not such a big deal when you look at, Frick tank is 1.5 million gallons. But then you get to commercial, 1,500 gallons at 2 hours, so 180,000 gallons of water. And then industrial, 3,500 gallons a minute for 3 hours. So that could be 680,000 gallons of water. That's a significant hit if something like that happens. And so we've got to plan accordingly for the volume in the tanks. So those are the requirements we're obligated to meet. So some of the goals that we had, water pressure, always maintaining, and we said the minimum is 35 PSI. We look at pretty much everything in a community like yours to be above 40. Is you get below that, and then people start complaining about taking showers and watering their yard and all those types of things. So we talked about fire flow improvements, water quality, and water loss. So the way we resolve some of those issues are those upgrades listed as fire hydrants. Sometimes the hydrant itself is the problem versus the water main. We do have documentation from fire flow testing that the fire chief provided to us. And then methods for identifying improvements. So we look at, to set up the model, we start with your static pressure. We talked about trying to keep it above 40 PSI. After that, we run a simulation for your peak day. So how much water do you use when it's 110 degrees and everybody's outside watering? Then we do a separate simulation for fire flow, which is always kind of the kicker because that's the biggest volume. Then we look at areas for leaks and breaks, and then the size of the pipe, age and condition. So all those kind of things are kind of packaged together to make those recommendations. For pump stations and storage tanks, we'll look at an exhibit here in a minute that shows the pieces that make up that volume. And we're looking at not only today's capacity in fighting fire, but we also look 30, 40 years down the road, as a tank is expensive to build, so we don't want to have to do them every couple of years. So we look at kind of balancing that so we don't have too much water that we have water quality problems, but we've got enough water that you can grow into the future and not have to build another one anytime soon. And Chris said the meters are really important, but so we know the meters are where you get your revenue. So in the recommended improvements is an AMI system to improve some of the things that you've dealt with on the meter side. And we don't really get into a lot of the details of the meter itself. That's staff can handle all that, but it's important to know that your meters are accurate and you're getting the proper revenue, and as well that the customer is getting a fair amount of water for what they're paying for. And I've seen some meters in the past that can be 15, 20% off of their accuracy, and that can make a difference. So we definitely don't want that issue. Well, this shows your fire flow model. Actually, can you go on to the next one, Mark? I think it's, there you go. Can you see off to the left there, the little, the red dot that says less than 1,000 gallons a minute? So the top exhibit is, or the top picture on the exhibit there is a description of some of the projects, but below that, the little snip, you see the larger red dots like on the green line in the center. So those fire hydrants are showing that they can't meet 1,000 gallons a minute. And the reason for this one specifically, it's a 4-inch line. But there's an 8-inch line across the street that's in good condition. So rather than replacing the 4 and spending that money, we're suggesting you transfer the services over to the 8 and make sure the fire hydrants are connected to the 8-inch line instead of the 4. So in a lot of cases, there's some transfers of things like that. So infrastructure's already been built and paid for. No need to do it again, just to have it on the opposite side of the street, but to take an older line out of service that doesn't meet the standards. This is an example of some of the projects. So working with staff, we came up with about 55 different projects as recommendations. And so in the master plan, it has the list of those projects kind of prioritized with a location, a recommendation, and then the cost for those. And this this is another one. Yeah, you're fine. Thanks. So some of the reasons for these specific that's on this exhibit are based on break history. I think that Oak Street was one that there was documentation of quite a few water breaks over the last several years. And so it's an existing 6-inch line, so we recommend replace that with an 8. And we don't have to replace all of, that whole subdivision area with 8-inch lines. If we have a 6 that's fed by something larger than a 6 and it's completely looped, then we can meet the residential fire. And then also if we've got an 8-inch line that's got a fire hydrant that's within 300 feet, typically most fire trucks carry at least a 300-foot hose, so we typically make a radius around each one of those hydrants and make sure there's plenty of overlap and we don't go past that 300 feet, so they don't have to stretch out and take more time than necessary to get that fire put out. But it was an example of basically every project that we have recommendations for has an exhibit with a description as well as the cost estimate in the spreadsheet. Any questions up to now?
On the fire hydrant that you mentioned that is on the 4-inch line instead of the 8-inch line, you said that was under the 60,000? Fire, or the, gosh darn it.
So a 4-inch line, we can't get 1,000 gallons a minute out of, so it wouldn't meet the fire flow
That's the part I
requirement.
was looking
Yeah.
for. Okay.
All right.
Well, and I see most of those are in the older part of
Yeah,
town.
yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
It makes
it
sense.
makes
I just wanted to make
complete
sure I
sense.
understood.
It's-
I thought
So
that-
you may not be able to answer this, but I'm going to tag on her question. But when we repair, we replace with an 8 depending on where it is, right? Or do we don't always replace with an 8?
Because it's depending on the line feeding the hydrant.
Okay, but if
So-
it's close to a hydrant, then you would replace with the whatever's sufficient to give the capacity for that water at the hydrant, correct? Maybe?
Not really.
Okay.
Because if it's, let's say it's a 4-inch main going down the road,
Yeah,
you don't want to put a piece of 8-inch in there because it won't
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
change
thank you.
anything.
Yeah,
Usually they're just making a little repair,
yeah,
but some of these, we call it, they're Band-Aided to death, so there's
are.
a bunch of different repair sleeves in them, and so it's time.
okay,
And typically on if it's below a 6-inch main, DNR calls it a flushing point instead of a fire hydrant.
Yeah, good point.
It's a flushing hydrant.
Oh, I see.
What's,
It's like, so the city can flush the water out, but it's not meant to use.
it's not meant to fight a fire.
Correct.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
And how long have we been behind these standards? How long has it been a standard of the 1,000 gallons per minute?
The early 2000s.
All right.
It's been a while, but
Yeah.
I'll say, please don't take this as things are bad.
Yeah.
Yours is actually in a lot better shape than most systems.
I was totally actually going to ask you that. Have you ever done a city and they're like, oh, everything's perfect, well, we're all good. Everything's up to code, meets requirements.
I will say, there's a few, how do I say? Riverside that has the casinos.
Yes,
They've replaced everything.
wow, well, that makes sense,
So
Yeah.
there's a few communities like that, but that's not very often.
yeah.
Well, if there's growth in a city, then you're going to see the need for the change. But if a city's not growing, you're not going to see the need for the change of things. But also, we have a lot of the older areas.
Yes.
And in the growth areas, then you're requiring the developer to
You
build
are.
it to the new standards.
Yeah,
So
which is
then
good.
You're not having to go back. It's just those older parts of town that were, built with,
Before the 2000s.
it wasn't intended for fire flow when it was built
And
originally.
met the requirements of that time, so.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
I usually get the question, the difference between an elevated tank or what we consider a water tower versus a standpipe. So, on the left side of the screen would be Frick Park. It's a true elevated tank. And on the right side of the screen would be your south tank. It's a standpipe. So if you look down the column in between the two tanks is a pressure, kind of a pressure gradient. So we start at 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 PSI. So comparing that, if you look at the bottom of Frick on the left there, all of the waters, you've got 1.5 million gallons that are above 40 PSI. If you look at the south tank, the red line there is at 40 PSI. You've only got about 15 feet of, about 15% really, of your tank is above 40 PSI. All the rest is just storage. Now, you can fight a fire a little bit with that until it gets down to about 20 PSI, and you're not going to, push it through the hose very well. So that's the downside of a standpipe. And again, a lot of those were designed for a system, a rural water system. They don't have as much pressure and they don't fight fires. They're not designed that way. So, just want to point out that's a big difference between a standpipe and an elevated tank. And so, looking at the master plan, one of our recommendations is for some of the growth that you're seeing, as well as getting all of that water above 40 PSI to replace the standpipe with an elevated tank. Any questions about that?
Makes sense. Not for me. Questions,
Yeah, no,
board?
I'm okay, thank you.
Well, you're too easy to get along with. So this is the priority water main projects. Now, they're not specifically listed as priority 1, 2, 3. So we did all the 55-plus projects and numbered the projects. So the projects are numbered kind of from the north end of the system to south. And then we went back and prioritized that based on staff's feedback and the model results and other things. So the end result of, we say priority 1 projects, 15 projects, average about 145,000 apiece, comes out to about 2.2 million total.
Can you enlarge that? Ours are, mine's
not
very
like the-
fuzzy. I can't read it.
Yeah.
I meant to ask for a different one today and I forgot.
Yeah, a lot of information for one slide, but.
Well, I'll speak up. You know I can't see it. Yeah, better. I can make it out, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
There we go.
That's me right there. I like that. That's great.
Now scroll left.
So the different columns on there, the location of it, giving it the name of the project. And then is it a replacement? Is it a transfer? Because I think there's 5 or 6 different projects where we're not replacing the water main. That's why I showed that example before. We're transferring from a smaller pipe over to a larger pipe that already exists. Another example of that is up just south of the pump station. 6-inch line that's had several leaks, and there's a 12-inch across the street. So I'll get rid of the 6 and transfer them to the 12 and don't have to replace that. So
Mayor, past the presentation in your packet is the full master plan. And started on page 41 of the full master plan is Appendix A, which has a full sheet of the priority
the projects.
projects.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay.
yep, all right. And then the next slide is the other second and third priority projects, we called them. Or, oh, no, actually, I'm missing one. We got the water tower next.
Oh, dang.
There you go. That works. So this one, replacing the south tank with an elevated tank. Matt and I talked numbers a couple different ways. And so we would likely, if you move forward with this, we would bid a couple different sizes of tanks to look at, some cost savings, but we're recommending a 700,000 gallon tank for growth into the future and meeting fire flow. And it's going to be tight on that site. We may have to get a little additional property to the south. Maybe, I think we were looking at, another 20 or 30 feet. It wouldn't be a whole lot, but we'd like to get the new tower built before we take the standpipe out of service. That would be preferred. It's not the only way we can do it, but it would be a lot less hassle for staff to do it that way. So, and then the other 2 projects on that list are the pump stations. And I will say the booster pump station on the south end, I was involved in the design of that one, 2014, 15. And we planned that one knowing with your growth that it would likely have to be expanded. So we should be able to put new pumps and some controls in there and not have to replace the station. So it was sized adequately to handle a larger pump and larger electrical. So that shouldn't be a whole lot to make an improvement there. And then doing some upgrades to the high service pump station on the north end of town to make sure we can keep pushing the water to Frick and match all those elevations. So that's the second and third priority projects. I'd say a lot of text on there, but I will say there's a couple different categories in here. Instead of just your water mains, there's a few places where developers, as they move forward with development, they should be paying for an interconnection. Or maybe it's a development agreement that you work out of a shared cost. But so those are listed at the bottom independently. So the price tag on those shouldn't really come out of the city budget, but there's an estimated price in there for those also. All right. So funding options. So we looked at cash if you spread it over 5 years, and then how's that impact the ratepayer? SRF, state revolving fund. Their terms are cheap interest. It's typically 2% or less, and then it's 20-year financing. USDA is the same, 20-year, or no, USDA rural development is a 35-year financing, but their interest rate's a little higher. And then lease purchase, which you've done before, or private funding as we call it, you can get a cheaper rate than, like if I'm buying a house and I pay 5% interest, you can usually get a lease purchase for a point or point and a half less than that. So we estimated these at private funding at 4.25 and USDA at 3.25. One thing to look at, the last column there, the availability. Obviously, cash is immediate if you've got cash to do projects. Private funding, I think the last time I was here, I think it was 36 or 38 days, we had $9 million of financing in your account from the time the board said go. If we go SRF or USDA, that's likely about 2 years. So that's the difference in scheduling time. If you look at the actual calculations of impact to the user on the bottom chart there, so if you spread your cash out over 5 years, that's a pretty big hit for somebody for their water rate, so $28. To go SRF loan, you're looking at about just under $9. USDA, since it goes over 35 years, is a little bit cheaper, so just over $7. And then lease purchase, if we do the straight numbers as we do the others, $10.84. But the reason I put the line underneath that with the asterisk, the private funding, you don't have a lot of the regulations that we do with the federal funding. So it's realistically, the project's about 15% cheaper.
With
So
which one?
with private funding.
With the private fund, okay.
So that's why I put that bottom line there to give a real apples to apples comparison. So if your private funding would be more like $9.22 compared to SRF at $8.82. So
Well, $1 million less. And so how does it just magically become 15% cheaper?
just the regulations that you have to go through for the federal funding. For
Versus
example,
the private funding.
we'll spend probably $50,000 in engineering stuff just to get to a project, which you wouldn't have to do with lease purchase.
And the availability of the money is faster too, right? The 60 to 90-day window?
Yeah, drastically faster. Now there's, obviously, those funding agencies are out there for a reason, and but they have to go by federal regulations, which means some of the, like American Iron and Steel, most things today kind of follow that already. But a lot of other hurdles that we have to go through with environmental and historic preservation and a lot of other regulations that you are not required to if you're just using private funds or cash. So there is a cost to all of that, is the real point. Any other questions on that?
Can you give me what do you mean by regulations? I would like to, just an example.
So like, we'll be required to do an environmental assessment, probably cost you $50,000-$60,000 if we use the federal money. And what they're looking for is, are we affecting anything environmentally or historically with the construction of the project? Well, almost everything we're doing has already been disturbed. So like we're replacing a water main next to an existing one that's in an easement or in the right of way. Excuse me. So we're not disturbing virgin soil. It's already had construction in it. So the likelihood of any impacts are, I mean, I've never, in my 30 years of doing this, I've never had one project that had an impact that in an area that had already been disturbed. So you spend money on those kind of things to check boxes, but does it really bring value? And I'm not downgrading any one of the programs. It's just a reality that we have to go through, and it costs you time and money. So.
And would we have to do that with the cash option? I mean, that's 5 years, but it's set for the 6.2 rather than the 5.2. if you, the cash option that is on the
Well,
first step,
that's a good point, actually. The cash option should be
that
a
5.2,
reduced cost too. I missed that.
and that changes the monthly impact by 15%, so,
Yeah.
okay. That's the only questions I have.
So from the engineering side, our work is less that we have to charge you to do cash or lease purchase. To say the regulations are there for reasons, and what we're doing here, I don't see any risk that, there's not a benefit to the city to go that direction.
Thank you.
Yeah. So when we look at rate setting, as we've talked here, spread the impact over multiple years. I call it the Kansas City rate curve, when they waited and waited and waited and waited, and then it jumped up by 50% in 1 year, or maybe 40 plus. Most people don't like that, and then they're calling you guys on a regular basis when we do things like that. So that's not what we're focusing on. We have to balance our budget, and it's much different than the feds do. And at least, I don't know that you can print money here, can you?
No.
We're planning for future projects and balancing the budget, and then we really want to make the people that are disabled or on fixed incomes, we don't want a water rate to hit them as much as we do, say, for example, the car wash. They're making money on your water. It's a commercial establishment. They use a lot more water. They impact your pumps and your tanks. So they should pay a more of a pro rata share than somebody that uses 500 gallons a month. So we structure the rate strategy for that purpose. And the next steps, identify your, thank you.
Job, Kim.
Identify which funding route you want to go, verify our priorities, and then get started. So question would be what those next steps look like is strategically. So the process would be, if you use SRF or USDA funding, they have a big checklist we have to go through, and you have to go to a vote of the public to approve bonds. That takes time in that step. If you go private funding, we can work a contract with you whenever you decide to. We'll go through the review of that. We'll work with staff to develop the scope of work and establish that contract and move forward. The engineer will design the project, and we'll come back to you after staff reviews it, and when we kind of get to a final completion point. We'd bring that back to you and show you what is being planned, what the updated cost estimate is, and get your approval before we would submit it to DNR. As any project like this has to go through DNR for a construction permit. And so they'll review the plans and then come back with any comments that we would have to respond to. Typically, they're pretty minor. And then we could put it out to bid. And so we would work with you to advertise it, put it out to bid, review the bids, and then if we make a selection for a contractor, we'd make a recommendation for that, bring that to you for your approval. And then once we start construction, we would do the administration of the contract, take care of the pay applications and, verifying that their payroll meets state regulations and all that. And then we'd also have a construction inspector on site to make sure that the materials they have are the ones they submitted and that's being constructed like you're expecting and that you're paying for. And then at the end of the project, we would do closeout documents, and part of that process is to reduce risk to the city. we will ask for lien waivers from the contractor. So any material supplier that he's got or any subcontractor, we verify that they've been paid so they don't come back on the city. Unfortunately, that still happens these days, so. Any questions?
Yeah, what's the, if you go back to the 2 slides before, what's, right there, what's the timeline there?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Okay, that's the next one, so,
Oh.
if, Matt, if you could go,
Ask ahead of
go
time.
forward one more. So, kind of hard to see there, essentially, we've got about 9 months to get from start to DNR's approval. And the water mains can be done in a little faster time, but a water tower is typically 18 months to 2 years. By the time we get a contractor on board and get through all the submittals, and then they get it erected, so.
Oh, the paperwork and construction all combined is 2 years?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So comparatively, let's say, lease purchase fund, financing, we wouldn't have the 18 to 24 months
Right.
in advance. So if you go with the federal funding, you can add about 18 to 24 months to that schedule. So it
Okay.
puts it out about 3 to 4 years to be complete versus
2 years.
you can be done in about 2 years the other way.
Okay.
And in the beginning graph that you showed us with the growth, it kind of put it like where we're just breaking even by 2034. And if it's 2026 now and it takes us 4 years, we're already kind of halfway to that growth pattern and then going to be surpassing it
Yeah,
immediately.
that's exactly why I say start the conversation with independents now, because it takes time to get through that process.
Yeah.
But rule of thumb with federal funding is a project is 5 years from planning to end. So you can speed it up with private funding, but it takes a little time to get through, and
Love that.
we definitely don't want to wait till 2034 to start that conversation.
No.
Yeah, so our most recent contract with Independence was signed in 2013, and
Okay.
it was for 20 years, so it'd be 2033, and then there's 20-year renewal options. So at the end of that 20 years, you could renegotiate for expanded capacity.
So we,
Not capacity, but volume of water purchased from
Right.
Independence.
we've looked at other options for other sources of water. You know, common sense, and also DNR likes to see at least 2 different sources of water, but you don't have too many options as of yet. The growth between you and Green Valley is getting close.
Yes.
Green Valley has provided water. They've got Tri-County, and they still get Kansas City water. I think Blue Springs gets Kansas City water. Anyway, there's Tri-County and Kansas City both come to that location. Independence obviously comes out here. Lafayette County, number 1, which is north of you, is doing some improvements to their system internally. And I talked with them about, is there a possibility we could piggyback on one of their projects, but it doesn't come far enough south to benefit Oak Grove. So presently, there's not a good answer that's cost effective. So one of the options, instead of additional source water, we talked about maybe additional volume of storage. If there was a time, typically if Independence line goes down, within a day or 2, it's repaired. So can you handle an emergency for a couple of days without a water supply? And so long as it's not right in the middle of the summer and you got a fire at the same time, you're probably going to be okay. But we want to plan for those things too. So.
What's the study on that? We've monitored that, right? Of if it's got dangerously low?
We monitor the towers, daily to see
Yeah.
whether,
Okay.
yeah. And unless there's a water break or a fire, we have enough flow from Independence and the booster stations keep it.
To keep it?
Yeah.
And with enough storage right now at that standpipe added with the storage in the bottom of Frick Tower?
Right, so, yeah, Frick is certainly better, and
Yes.
part of that, and Jim is a little bit, is we have different zones, so we have the south zone and north zone.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the south zone with the standpipe that has some issues.
Right, okay. Thank you.
We also have an alarm on our SCADA that if Independence has problems, we have pressure that tells us that the pressure is low coming from Independence.
So you know ahead of time? You know ahead of time if there's an issue?
Correct.
Okay. The alarms on the tower at Frick,
No, the alarm's on the.
the standpipe?
meter, Like where we buy the water from Independence.
Oh, excuse me. Okay.
So we have a pressure thing there that if they can't supply the pressure to us that we're asking for,
Yeah,
it'll go off, so we know that, okay, we have an issue that they're not sending the water we need.
I see. Very good.
And you also have controls on the tanks, so if they drop too low, that they get alarms also.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, it's been a very educational presentation. I appreciate it. Presentation only, so are you going to bring something back at some point, Matt? What's your expectation, what's our expectation of that?
Yeah, so, I mean, some of this conversation will be had at the budget workshop, talking about rates.
Okay, that's where you'll bring it?
Yeah. but,
Okay,
You know, beyond that, we'd be looking at next year, how to implement it, as well as financing. So
okay,
I've already been talking with some of the preliminary numbers here that were provided to the city's financial advisor, Baker Tilly, looking at structures, types of financing that could be used, perhaps a combination of cash and private funding, but also the timing of the market. So right now, with what the feds are doing, cutting rates, it might be best to wait another couple of months, a quarter or two, to see if rates come down more before issuing some debt.
yes,
But yes, more conversations to come, for sure.
okay.
All right.
Any other
Thank-
questions, Board? Thank you, appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.
Very informative.
The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action for the purchase of the police motor vehicle and audio recording body-worn cameras. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. Early in 2025, the city of Oak Grove had reached the distinction of being a Blue Shield city, which opened us up for the possibility of grant funds through the Missouri Department of Public Safety. When that designation was given, we needed to adjust our thinking on what was the most important steps we could take to benefit the department, the police department, and that what is our critical need, that being radios, body cameras, and mobile video audio recorders, or MVAR as I call them. The radios, we've already discussed that, and so we had to back up and look at our MVAR and our body cams. MVAR being most prevalent on that need list because our units in the vehicles are going back over 10 years. They are outside of warranty. They cannot be repaired, and we literally are a little tape here and a little soldering there to keep them going. The body-worn cameras themselves will go out of warranty this year because the manufacturer of any body-worn camera will only offer a 3 to 5 year warranty program. So once we were awarded the $50,000, we immediately went out and started pricing replacements for the MVAR and the body-worn cameras. We currently use the WatchGuard system, which is under the umbrella of the Motorola Corporation. And to stay with them is what truly was our comfort level. And the captain was able to find pricing that was 40% off due to what they had on the market and what they were looking to sell. We did our due diligence, though, and we did check with other companies. We checked with another company, Utilities, out of the Core Product Group out of Georgia. Could meet pricing to a little bit higher, but their product, though unique, would require retrofitting our uniforms or changing our uniforms altogether in the way that their product worked. And then the cost of migrating our information was so much per terabyte because we already have body-worn cameras and mobile video out there, gathering information and storing that on a hard drive. And then to move that to a new system would cost money. We did go to Axon out of Phoenix, Arizona, which is the major or the leading player right now for large to super large departments, but they're looking at $1 million contracts just for some of the departments that are a little bit west of us here. And so when we tried to price them for a small agency of 25 or less, we found prices to be about 30% higher than what our current vendor could supply. So in looking at replacing 23 body cameras and the 10 mobile video units, taking it to cloud storage, and picking up the fact that the new units allow us to redact in-house, which we have never been able to do, which would be a game changer for my administrative ladies, because they can handle those now, even down to the officers, well, at least the administrative officers who handle the project can redact those videos as need be. We can replace all for the price of $81,425, I think it was. And then $50,000 of that is a reimbursement grant. So truly talking out of pocket to do 23 body cameras and the 10 video in-car systems at about $31,000 to $32,000. Now, we're also still waiting on a second grant that's out there. I just bring it up for the fact that I did mention in my agenda item, we do have another grant through the local violent crime prevention. That would be another $25,000. We know that we're in the running for it because we know that some have already been told, no, you didn't make it, but we don't know the timeline of when that one will be approved. And so we cross our fingers every Friday. I'm thinking, okay, this will be the Friday we find out about that. But what I'm asking for tonight is the ability to move forward with the purchase of the complete package for the $81,000 and change, with $50,000 of that being reimbursed through the Department of Public Safety and the Blue Shield grant.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions?
Yeah, the 25, would that go towards a new project in the future? Let's say we did get it next Friday, or would we be able to retro it back into this?
It would go right into this because that grant was specifically written just for body-worn cameras. And so we could reduce that even further. And that's even if they were to give us $10,000, it would still just reduce this fee even further.
Okay.
Very good.
Awesome.
Is this, so this is brand new technology, I assume, so the warrant, or no? So
Well,
I guess I'm wondering, what's the lifespan of this product having a warranty on it and, you know?
5 years.
Okay.
Now, what we face with WatchGuard, not what we face, but the reality of working with the vendor that we know is that in between that 3 to 4 year period, we're still paying the service fee, which is our cloud storage, which is the maintenance on anything that breaks. We then upgrade for a current existing customer in about year 3. And then as we move into year 5, 6, 7, onto that, our warranty price goes down, but we'll still have the cloud storage fee and other service fees. So we would look to upgrade any parts that are starting to fail or at least being used beyond their life expectancy at that 3 year mark, 3 to 4 year mark.
And what is the average lifespan of one of these devices typically?
5 years.
That's right in there with the
Yeah.
warranty, okay.
Because they just will not repair them. The body cams are shorter. The MVARs, like I said, we have an MVAR system in one of the cars that's 2012, 2014, and we've just been babying that the whole time and hoping it doesn't break down. Body cams are different though because they're rolling around on the ground.
Sure.
They're up and down. They're all around.
Yeah, I mean, 5 years from now, who knows where our technology will be too, so.
Right,
take
we'll be
it with
flying,
us.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Any other questions? Looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the Motorola Police MVR units and body-worn cameras.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of the Motorola Police mobile video and audio recording cameras. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action for Bill Number 25-23 regarding an ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2025. Matt?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So this is just piggybacking off the last item. So it's a budget amendment to add that $50,000 grant reimbursement to general fund revenue, as well as add $81,500 to the minor apparatus in the police department budget for the purchase of those cameras.
Yes. Just procedure.
Just right.
I totally understand. This is an ordinance board.
I move for the first and second reading by title only of bill number 25-23.
Second.
Did you get that, Kim? We have a motion and a second for the first and second reading of the proposed ordinance by title only. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. City Clerk, would you please read the full title of the bill 2 times?
An ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning on January 1st, 2025 and ending on December 31st, 2025. An ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning on January 1st, 2025 and ending on December 31st, 2025.
I move for adoption of bill number 25-23.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the adoption of bill number 25-23. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Rachel Kilmer,
Yes.
Shane Shawbaker,
Yes.
Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Tracy Newcomer,
Yes.
and Pam Pope.
Yes.
Motion is approved and ordinance number 2149 is adopted. The next item on the agenda is discussion, consideration, and possible action for the Mark Household Hazardous Waste Program Agreement for 2026.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So the city received an invitation to renew our application to the Regional Household Hazardous Waste Collection Program. This program is administered through the Mid-American Regional Council Solid Waste Management District. And they do that in partnership with the cities of Kansas City, Missouri, and Lee Summit, Missouri, as they have 2 permanent locations at those cities. So participation in this program allows our residents to dispose of hazardous waste at those 2 permanent locations free of charge throughout the year, as well as utilize any of the mobile or pop-up collection sites. And usually there's, a dozen of those throughout the year. One of them is up there at the county's Public Works Building in between Green Valley and Oak Grove. And additionally, participation in this program allows the city to meet our pollution discharge prevention requirements of the city's MS4 stormwater management plan as required by the Missouri Department of Natural Resources. This was something that was identified in the MS4 audit that was conducted this year, that we need to have a program in place for residents to be able to dispose of hazardous waste. The 2026 participation fee is $1.14 per capita. That's up 1 penny from last year. Last year was $1.13 per capita, and it's applied to our 2024 estimated population, which was just over 9,000. So the total participation fee for next year is $10,274.82. The first 3 quarters of this year, so January through September, 83 households utilized the program, and they disposed of 10,722 pounds of hazardous waste. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Thank you, Matt.
We did not participate in this for years and years, right?
Correct, yeah, I think,
That's what I thought.
yeah, maybe for
We
talked
just
about it a
started
better part of a
really
decade, maybe we didn't do it.
Yeah.
And we have, I think this would be the 3rd year
Yes.
that we have been a part of it.
But now it meets a need that's required by,
Yeah, so one of the things that is in the stormwater management MS4 permit is having some way for residents to dispose of hazardous waste. I think DNR's concern is that, of course, they have 2 sides of the house. So one part of DNR's concern with streams going to bodies of the states or waters, so that they're going to be more concerned with people dumping it in the curb,
Right.
or in a ditch and it making it to. The other concern, although not part of the same permit, is concerns with it getting to our sewer treatment plant. So the other part is, are people flushing it or pouring it on floor drains and it getting to our sewer treatment plant? But there, they don't really care so much if it costs us more to treat it, so long as when we discharge it, it's clean.
gotcha.
So while they don't want it at the plant, if it gets to the plant, we have to clean it.
Right.
They're more concerned with it getting to, quote-unquote, a body of the state, and so that's why it's part of the MS4 permit to have a hazardous waste collection program.
Is that a new requirement within, how did we go so long without, we just did? Deficit?
Yeah, I
just
don't,
didn't
I
approve it.
can't, yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure
we-
what was going on in the past. I'm not sure if it's a new requirement of the MS4 permit. I do know that that was one of the things that in our audit,
That was touched.
they like to have, and we got
Right.
Gotcha.
plus points for having this program.
You're like, thank God.
Well, are you able to track our usage of it, like the average citizen usage? Like how many people are taking advantage of the program?
That's what the.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
so-
what that is. Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
10,000,
Yeah,
so-
or he mentioned 83 households.
Yeah, so-
Got it.
83.
On the
Okay.
first quarter,
I'm sorry, I
think.
didn't-
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, so Mark, when somebody goes to either the permanent collection sites in Lee Summit or Kansas City, they need to provide their ID and where they live and address, and so those are tracked. And then at the pop-up locations, when people enter, they're supposed to give their address and where they live.
Okay, my brain must have been turned off, but we're
That's
using
okay.
it more each year.
Yeah, so
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
we-
what's getting, yeah, okay.
I mean, it's not as high as we probably wish that it would be, but Matt and I spoke about this earlier in the week, and I mean, think about it, where would those 83 households thinking that they maybe would just dump that somewhere?
Right, right.
I mean, we're glad that they're using that, maybe with consistency of, we've had it for 3 years,
Yes.
right? If we
Keep
just keep
messaging.
doing it, keep messaging it, keep having it, it will just continue to increase.
Yeah, we had, last year, that we had a higher number, and it's because there was a backlog of folks, because we hadn't done it for so many years, so we had a lot of people last
Right.
year. Our numbers now are comparable to other cities, so looking at what other cities have, their population, their number of folks that are using the system, or the program, and the number of pounds, we're fairly close. So looking at other cities of our similar size, we're kind of right on there. Yeah. That-
Okay. Any other questions, discussion?
I make a motion to approve the 2026 membership of the Mark Household Hazardous Waste Program.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Mark Household Hazardous Waste Program. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is information reports. Matt, do you have one?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Chris? Thank you. Chief?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Chris F.?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Kim?
No report.
Scott?
Real quick, end of October marks the end of the park restroom facilities and water, so we begin winterizing, so the restrooms and that type of facilities are closed.
Nice. I did not make it out Saturday night. How did it go?
So I think we had over 100 trick-or-treaters. They had a hard time
Good.
counting, but there's so many people that it was, and the food trucks were happy. We were concerned that they wouldn't be happy, but yeah, it was people that went and enjoyed it, and I could see it growing.
Good. Fantastic. Rachel?
It was such a great Halloween. Like, there were so many trick-or-treaters, and everyone was so
The
kind.
weather.
It just makes me so proud to, like, live
Where
in a
did you
community like this.
trick-or-treat?
My neighborhood, which is
Oaks of
insane.
Edgewood?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah,
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 Crazy.
yeah,
That's 'cause
insane.
everyone in Oak Grove and Grand Valley went to Oaks of Edgewood.
Yeah, last year
Yeah.
I saw a client from Lenexa there
Concerning.
that had
Yeah.
busted in for it. But, so we'll discuss logistics at some point, probably. I have some
Yeah.
ideas.
It's
But
insane.
it's just, everyone's so kind and generous. Like, it's just like warm fuzzies. So, yeah.
Yeah, very good.
No report.
Okay. Shane?
I would like to add on to Halloween. Chief of Police was there. I saw him doing his work. He was getting all the people off the road. It was great. I also went to the MRA meeting. All of you missed
yeah.
it. It was fantastic.
Okay.
There was a 3-hour-long shuffleboard game.
Oh, nice. Okay. Maybe we probably don't want to hear about that.
I was MVP and I won in the game.
Okay, good job. Tracy?
No report.
Pam?
No report.
I do not have a report either. I would ask for a motion for executive session.
Make a motion, we adjourn to executive session 610.021, 1 and 2.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn to executive session 610.021, 1 and 2. Any discussion? If not, City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Rachel Kilmer,
Yes.
Shane Shawbaker,
Yes.
Kelly Netto,
Yes.
Tracy Newcomer,
Yes.
and Pam Pope.
Yeah.
We are adjourned to executive session. Matt, you are too.
Yeah.